Hey, what's up everyone? It's Donald back today for a tanking video in New World Aeternum. So, real quick, I'ma tell you what's the best tank weapon right now in my opinion in New World, in PvE and PvP, and I'm gonna get you some easy gear that you're gonna be able to find and just wear it. I'm gonna explain you what's the best build kinda that you can craft, but this is gonna cost you a lot of money. So get ready, this is gonna be quick and simple, really simple meta crafting. So you see, as a starter, the Azot Crystal is a really good starter. You can use that. There is the Frigid Down 2 that drop from Mutation 3. So yeah, if you need good gear, you go get that Mutation 1, 2, 3, Azot Crystal, Frigid Down. Yeah, you sure of what you do. Best starter gear into the game for a tank. And then the Void Dark Plate is a no-brainer. With this, you are sure of what you do. Seriously, Void Dark Plate, it cannot get nullify or whatever. Like, it's a all-around beast. And then Fortify Shield Rush, you can put it on your shield, mostly if you're new at tanking and you feel like you're gonna need more Fortify. You're gonna put it on your shield, it's gonna give you even more Fortify than on your gear. But for me, I like having haste, you know, because I'm a speedrunner, so having accelerated result on my shield is better for me. 35% haste, I like it. And then the Azot Crystal, again, really nice piece, it works. I would maybe change the conditioning for PvE, but this conditioning kinda work. Sorry, the Dryad is there. So yeah, this conditioning kinda work for PvP because there's a lot of spear, and this build is like between PvE and PvP from a couple months ago. But yeah, if I was going to remake it, I would go probably more into slash conditioning into it. You can change the health for other stuff. Health is not a dead perk though, but you can change it. There's some people who like freedom as example, more conditioning or whatever. And then when you reach 725 from Gorgon, there is the applied gear. But you can craft yourself some piece that's gonna cost a lot though, but you can craft some pieces that are gonna be better than the uplight, but you better go for the uplight as a starter after you full with the Frigid Down Azot Crystal and you put some piece. This one is time gated, so uplight helm is gonna be one piece per week around that you're gonna get, so it's gonna take you a moment during that time. It's why you're gonna have to equip in Azot Crystal or Frigid Down. So yeah, the Elemental Aversion, don't sleep on that. Enchanted Ward, don't sleep on that. Refreshing gonna help you to have more taunt, but you don't need refreshing in your build. But having more taunt is a nice thing, and in PvE, some people will put Carnelian in their gear, so they're gonna do more DPS on taunted foe. So by having more taunt, you're gonna make some of your DPS do more DPS. And in PvP, you know, the cooldown reduction are kinda insane. Let's take the Fortify Shield Rush as example. If I'm able to pop more Fortify Shield Rush, it's like if I have more armor. So think about it. So for the sword in PvP, the Empower Leaping Strike is kinda good, but you can go for a refreshing move that's gonna be a better like all around PvE and PvP. And since you're a tank, you should probably focus more onto the debuff and buff on your sword and not the DPS, mostly in PvP. In PvE, you can use those perks like Keen and Vicious, Enchanted, just to make sure you have a good aggro, but in PvP it's gonna be more like plagued crits and buff and debuff like haste, keen speed, stuff like this, just so you can survive better. And then for the offhand weapon, it depends on whatever. Serenity is the best PvE because of the aggro, but if you want to put buff and debuff, there's gonna be the hammer that's gonna be really good. So the great sword is the best aggro for sure. The hammer is the best rend. So you can change depending. If you think you need more aggro, you're gonna pop the serenity. If you think your group need more rend, you're gonna pop the hammer. Depending on the fight, just adapt. And same for the sword. You can use a flail, but the sword is just better. Tanking with the flail just work better in PvP, and you're gonna go flail and ice gauntlet. And on your flail and ice gauntlet is gonna be all support ability. Since you're a tank, like I say, you want some plague crit, you want the Aeternum perk on your ice gauntlet just to gain some health, all built in survivability. And remember that there is some specific weapon perk depending on your weapon. Like the flail, you can get the mending vortex on your shield, etc. Like right now I have accepted results, but mending vortex, if I had a flail, would be great. So the Ankh, it's gonna give a chance to your healer to be able to heal you. I tried a bunch of stuff, but the reality is, yeah, you just better to give a chance to your healer. If you think that your healer is really bad, then you can change for a E-ring called Justice or a ring called Blood Drinker. But Blood Drinker you're gonna do less damage, so less aggro, so I would not recommend that. Believe in your healer and learn to play without heal. And just run away, like just move around if you do not take damage, you see at this point. So this ring is pretty good, but since I'm a tank, I would probably take leeching of it if possible. Tell me if I'm missing something. Maybe since I'm slash, I could have like, instead of keying the slash damage, you know, leeching and slash. So yeah, that depends a bit on your build. There's so a couple possibility like cleansing, arch rune, stuff like that. And for the earring, I think that fortifying toast gonna be key. It's probably the best thing with refreshing toast, and then regenerating is a bit less than refreshing toast, but still amazing. You can do the maths, you're gonna get less heal by regenerating than refreshing toast. So as you can see on the shield, I have 3 defensive perks. You don't really need sturdy, and you can change the frozen shield ward, but I like to have sturdy. When you get used to it, when you get used to sturdy and you take it off, it's gonna probably throw you off balance, but it's not that bad. That depends a lot on the fight, but I like to have it as a base because you're there to tank anyway. So when I play PvP, I have some shield without sturdy. I could use like sturdy fortification, something like that. And you can change depending if you do mutation or whatever. Like frozen shield ward is good for frozen mutation, there's fire or whatever. And for war, you can use slash or strike, whatever, okay? But I think that strike could be good because you want some raw protection for the strike to save you from the armor breaker that's gonna hit really hard. So now that we got over the build, now we're gonna go over the attribute. The attribute is a really important thing. Alright, so in PvP, you're gonna go sometime to 500 con because you're a tank. In PvP, that makes sense, but in PvE, you're gonna have to keep the aggro, and this is important, and you have a job to do, and your job is to keep the aggro as a tank. Alright, so this is why you will not go over 350 con, and if you go over 350 con, don't go over 400, okay? Call it the Dolbeck cap, 400 constitution max, okay? And then with the, if I can just take off my dex and use or use some 48 food, I'm gonna try to reach the 33% stamina regen rate, because this gonna help you to have more stamina, to block more, to dodge more, just to be a tank. So I think this is the main perk. You can probably do like a 200 to do more DPS, but you don't do backstab or headshot damage as a tank anyway. So this is why you want to be a tank. You let your DPS, they're gonna be able to have very low con if you tank right. So doing DPS as a tank is not a thing. Like, what you want is keep the aggro from the DPS that pump really hard. So this is why the 350 con and 400 max. 400, I don't think the DPS gonna have a chance to steal your aggro. But I've been into some weird group where some people use like a earring with despise on it and try to steal the aggro for some reason. And 400 con in those moments is maybe not enough. 350 would be just enough. So yeah, I'm usually thinking with 350, but you know, sometimes I just don't care and just put my magnifying con. Oh, it's reached 400, let's do the red, you know. But then I have a teammate that have a weird build trying to steal me the aggro, and yeah. So 350 con, sweet spot, and the 250 strength, sweet spot. And then for the weapon mastery, it depends a bit on your gameplay. I like this tanking build very much in PvE because the leadership in PvE is key, but in PvP, the defensive formation gonna save your teammate by a lot. 30% is huge, and you can just do that during a crash, and you're gonna save your teammate. So remember that the build for PvE and PvE is PvE and PvP is really different, and you will have to change build every time. Just accept that you have to change build, and if you are scared to forget your passive, take a picture or something. There's no excuse. Sometimes I can change build 5 times in a day, and I remake my whole thing 5 times in a day. Just get used to it. This is how New World work. If you are always in PvP and PvE until the same passive, you are doing it wrong. And then for the Great Sword, I made this build a while ago on a Terra account. It's still good. Yes, when I'm looking at it, it's a very good build right there. You can tank with this in PvP and PvE. You will do amazing. As you can see, the Undying Defense gonna give you some lead chain in PvP with the Blood Drinker. It does a good difference. It show. And in PvE without Blood Drinker, it still show. So for the Warhammer, there's a couple build out there. This is a PvP build. The tank into PvE, they're gonna run those ability right there, and they're gonna put some passive that give them more damage, more defense, you know, just depending on their gameplay. So a build like this for a tank could be great. You have a bit of rending from the clear out, mostly if you have the weapon perk. You have the rending from the armor breaker and the rending from the shockwave. You can have the 3 rending ability. So if you really want to put some rend, those ability with the weapon perk is where it's at. And then you can change a bit this build around, you know, like it's just right now what I'm showing you is the best meta used by the pro, but I am well aware that it's possible to do other combo with your weapon. You can tell me what's your favorite combo. I'm a bit happy to hear it. So I did not make a flail build or whatever. This was a OPR troll build. There is a ton of tank war build. It's not a war video, it's for tanking. But if you want to learn how to be a tank in war, you're gonna get a flail and ice gauntlet build, and you're gonna type it on YouTube and you're gonna find a good ice gauntlet flail for war, and you're gonna copy and paste. Make sure that the video is 3 month old, maybe 5 month old max, and it's supposed to be fine. Maybe for 3 to 4 months, because the game changed quick sometime and 3 months seems like the sweet spot. If the video is more than 5 months old, sometimes there's a good chance that it's gonna be irrelevant. Let's take the not so watches piece, got disabled and then re-enabled and enchanted a couple times in the process. So all those videos about the not so watches piece are kinda scuff. So this was a quick tank guide. If I forget something and you want me to go over it, just tell me. I will do more tanking video into the future for PvP and PvE. I already have some. So thank you to everyone who come and watch this video. I wish you a good day. Peace out.